Hi guys, this is Mohit from Indian iOS Guru, and this is our ninth video of our Learning to Build iOS Apps with Swift series. And today we are going to be learning about enumerations. So, an enum is a group of related values, and enums in Swift are very powerful as each of the enum members can have a raw value which can be of any of the valid data types in Swift that are string, character, integer, or even double. So, enum members in Swift can also have associated values and can also have computed properties, which we will see in detail later, and also have instance methods. Enums can also define initializers to have a default initial value and can also be extended for added functionality and can also conform to protocols. So let's go ahead and look at the enum syntax. So we create an enum by saying enum, let's say car, and I'm going to give this enum four members, and they're going to be case, Tata, case, Honda, case, Hyundai, and case, Mercedes. Okay, oops, so no commas needed. So Tata, Honda, Hyundai, and Mercedes are members of this car enum. So the case keyword is used to define the member values, and unlike other traditional languages, enum members in Swift are not assigned default values starting from 0. So we can even use commas to declare multiple enum members on the same line, but let's look at an example with the commas. We can say enum sports brand, and we can say case Reebok, comma, and when we use the comma syntax we don't have to use the case keyword again, so I can simply specify the enum member and Nike. So we can use these enum members with either variables or constants. So for example, I'll say var my favorite car. Well, I know that my favorite car can keep changing from time to time, so I'm putting it as a variable, and I can say car dot Honda. And let's say, for example, let my favorite sports brand, and I know my sports brand is always, my favorite sports brand is always the same, so I am assigning it as a constant, and I say oops, sports brand dot Adidas. So my favorite sports brand is declared as a constant and its value cannot be changed. But my favorite car is a variable and a new value from the car enum can be assigned to it. So now I can simply say my favorite car is equal to, and I can say dot Tata. So notice the difference here. I am just saying dot Tata instead of saying car dot Tata, because on this line Swift has already inferred the data type to be of car. So once Swift knows the data type, we can directly use the dot syntax and the member that we want to assign to our variable. So we can also, if the constant or variable is explicitly declared with the enum type, we can use the dot syntax. So let's say, for example, I have var an explicit car type, and I am explicitly saying the data type of this variable has to be a car. And now I can simply use this dot operator and assign it any member from the enum. So now let's see how to check what enum values are assigned to our constants or variables, and to do that we're going to use the switch case. So we can use the switch case to check what enum member was assigned to a variable or the constant. So let's say switch my favorite car, and I'll say case dot Tata, and I'll just print ln Tata. I'll say case dot Honda and print ln Honda. Say case dot Hyundai, print ln Hyundai, and let's say case dot Mercedes, and I can say print ln Mercedes. So notice that I'm only directly using the dot syntax, and there seems to be a problem. Oops. So as you know, with the switch case, the colon is a must, and you can see that Tata is being printed out, and I'm directly using the dot syntax here because Swift already knows the data type of this variable. My favorite car is the car enum. So as seen in one of our previous videos, a switch case must be exhaustive. That is, all the possible cases must be explicitly written out. So if for some reason all cases cannot be listed, we must put in a default clause. So let's say, for example, I put in a switch case again, and I switch on my favorite car, and I say case dot Tata. Don't forget the colon. Say print ln, and I can say you like Indian cars. And as I just mentioned, switch cases should be exhaustive, and I don't feel like writing out, or it's not necessary for me to write out all the other cases. So I can simply put in a default clause and say print ln you like foreign cars. And you can see the output you like Indian cars is being printed out. So let's look at associated values. So enum members in Swift can have associated values of any type. So for example, we are going to redeclare our car enum as, let's say, enum car 2, and I'm going to say case Tata, and Tata is going to have an associated value which will be of string and int. I'll have another case Honda, which will again have string and int, although it's not compulsory, but it can be anything, or there can be no associated value also. So I'm going to say case Hyundai, which is going to have an associated value of string and int. and I can have case Mercedes with string and int. So now to use this enum, I can say, for example, where my favorite car 2 is equal to car2 dot data, and now for in place of the string I can specify the model number, the name of the car from the Tata brand. So I can say Nano, and for int I can specify the year the model was bought in. So I can say, or manufactured in. So I can say 2000 K 2015. So here I'm saying my favorite car is from the company Tata, and from that company I like the Nano car and the 2015 variant of that car. And now let's try to use the switch case and try to see how to use these associated values. So I can say switch my favorite car to, and let's say case dot Tata, and I can say let model comma let year, and I can put in a println which says you like the Tata model comma, and here I want to print out the year. And same way we put in, as the switch case has to be exhaustive, so I can say Honda, Hyundai, Mercedes, and Mercedes. So you can see the output, it says you like the Tata Nano 2015. So you can give these associated values to enums to pass in some additional information that can be required. Okay, so let's talk about the raw values. So as I mentioned before, Swift members by default are not assigned integers like in other languages. So the data type of the Swift enum members can be strings, character, integer, and even float. So raw values are pre-populated values assigned to the enum members when the enum is declared. So let's look at an example to understand that. So I'm going to say I'm creating an enum called day, and this enum, all the enum members will have an integer assigned to it. So I can say case Monday equal to 1, case Tuesday equal to 2, case Wednesday equal to 3, case Thursday equal to 4, case Friday equal to 5, case Saturday equal to 6, and case Sunday equal to 7. And now if I want to get the raw values of these members, I can say let raw for Tuesday is equal to day dot Tuesday dot raw value. So you can see the raw value for Tuesday, that is 2, is being printed out. Now let's say, for example, let some day equal to, now I want some day to be an enum member by specifying a particular raw value. So I can say day, and for raw value I can say, for example, I want the sixth day. Okay, so let's look at this. You can see that some day is of the data type day optional. Okay, and to extract the value we can use the if let syntax or even the forced unwrap operator. So the reason it's an optional is because there can be a situation where you can pass in an illegal raw value. So in that case you are going to get back an optional. So let's try to say print ln someday, and we use forced unwrapping. So it still says it's an optional, so we will use the switch case for this. We can say switch on someday. Let's just say case Saturday, print ln Saturday, and I'll say default and don't forget the dot since it's an enum member. And before we use the switch case, it's an optional, so let's force unwrap it. And you can see that Saturday is being printed out. And if I was to change this to 4, you can see it goes to the default section. If I was to put this as 8, okay, so you can see Swift is complaining because 8 is not a valid raw value and some day is being set to nil, and you cannot obviously do a switch case on a nil variable. So let's go and set this back to 5 or 6 rather. And we have Saturday being printed again. So this is the end of our video. The code for this video will be put up on our GitHub repository and the link will be shared in the description. Also come over to our website, which is indianios.guru, to have a Q&A session based regarding the topics that we are covering in the videos. So see you guys on the website.